live. Video is starting. Processing. 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 Hey, we're now live. Hooray.
Yo.
All right, so now I got to share it. All right, so now I shared it. You should share it too, but also turn your volume down because you always have the affinity of leaving it up.
What episode is this?
57.
All right. Yep.
All right, so now we hit record. That's what we got to do. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Hey, Matt.
Kenny,
So I noticed you're wearing a Lead with Love shirt.
that's by design, yes.
Yes, indeed. What's the purpose behind that?
I needed a shirt to wear on the show. Would you like to, is there something?
Enjoy the show.
No,
No,
this is specifically the shirt that they gave out last year for the Cupid Undie Run.
Yes.
On the back, it has all of the dates and all the cities that the Undie Run has gone on.
Yeah, the Cupid Undie Run, it's a really cool charity that Matt and I participate in year after year. We run in our undies for charity, and it's to help NF, which, again, I can never pronounce the name of it, but it's like neurofibers or something. But it's a really cool charity. We run in our underwear. We kind of embarrass ourselves. We always go in a costume. But the cool thing is we have a team. It's
We have
the
a team
Two
this year.
Moves team.
We actually got more than just you and I this year.
I know.
So it opens up dramatically our theme ideas.
Exactly. We have some listeners that are going to be joining us, which is awesome. But if you can't run, or you might be a little too embarrassed. Sometimes people are a little self-conscious about running in their underwear, which you shouldn't be. Trust me, I'm a tubbo, and I'm going to be running out there.
Not me. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna try working.
We
I have
have
the
2 weeks.
I have the next 2 weeks to work out as much as I can.
But if you do want to donate and help support the cause, and also put our name on the map a little bit, you can just go to my.cupids.org/2moves. That's my.cupids.org/2moves. That's the name of our show, and you'll be able to donate any amount. Like even $5 is going to be extremely helpful.
Yep.
And you can donate to it. It goes to an amazing cause. Matt and I will be there. We're going to be running a fool. We're going to let you know. We're not going to reveal it just yet.
Yeah,
We'll-
we have a really good idea this year.
we have a good idea for some costumes, but my.cupids.org is where you need to go to support us running in our underwear. And we've been there before. We saw a guy in tidy whities with his junk straight up hanging
If he
out.
wants to do that, more proud. I mean, we try and go with a little bit of
Little
finesse,
class.
a little class,
Little class.
more class, less ass.
Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are 7 acknowledged wonders of the world. You are about to witness the 8th.
I almost unplugged myself.
Kenny, you said we have an idea for the theme.
Yeah.
At this point, it's more than just an idea. It's been
It's
put in motion.
solidified. That is true.
We have actually already ordered all the what would you call it? The bits of the
The
costume,
accoutrements.
the costumes.
Indeed. Hey, guys. Welcome to episode 57 of Two Moves, Kenny.
Matt,
And 57 episodes. We know it's been a while. We had some craziness going on in our lives, but we're back.
look,
and we're here.
this is a hobby, so we do it as we want.
But if you guys buy some merch, then it will become a business. So twomoves.com/merch. We talked about a little bit about our charity event that we have going on. We have a lot of really cool things that are happening up on our Facebook page. It was really cool too. I know, Matt, you posted some really terrible
Dude, when I post
Olympic
content,
events.
it is quality content. So I'm watching this video, and it's 30 seconds in. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. And then there it is, the whipping towel Olympic event. And you and I talked about doing this, and we didn't do it.
We did, and then Carmen, who always comes in, chimes in every once in a while. She knows my hatred for fitted sheets. How you can never fold a fitted sheet. So she actually found online a zipper fitted sheet structure. So what you do is, let's see if I can find it. You put the zipper, or you put the base on the edge of your bed,
border of the
on
bed.
the border of the bed, and there's a zipper on top. So
Yeah.
all you do is zip on the sheet, zip off the sheet, and it's a flat sheet that you can fold easily. No more being this idiot.
I mean, to be honest, I get it. It's hard to fold sheets. I just kind of roll them up in a nice, as best you can way, and then put it in a closet or a drawer,
it's
and
impossible. It is impossible to fold a fitted sheet. But like this is actually pretty,
that's it. Yeah,
pretty neat.
I tell you what, though, I know that some sheets they are notated, like which is the corner or which is the top or the sides or whatever. Even when notated which is which, I still screw it up. It's almost, you know how like people, you know the joke how it's always like a USB, you never know which way, and you have to keep going back and forth until you finally get a USB drive in.
Yeah.
That's me with sheets.
Yeah, no, it totally is. We have our buddy Jason chiming in. We're on Facebook Live. I completely, it's been so long I haven't done our shout outs. You can always email us, show@twomoofs.com. You can text us, 347-MyMoofs. And of course, we're on Facebook Live right now, and we'll post it on YouTube, which you can subscribe to. And we have a bunch of people coming in from Port St. John, from Guadalajara,
Glenn.
Mexico.
Haven't caught Glenn in a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Glenn used to be in our jazz band.
He used to be in our jazz band. I remember in high school, he was the bad boy. He would smoke, in high school, which, obviously you're under 18. So, and I remember we were on a trip once, and we were in a hotel room, and he smoked in the hotel room, but he did it in the bathroom with the shower on, like full hot steam.
Oh yeah, so
that way
kinda,
the steam
the
kind of
smoke
dampens the smoke.
particles just kind of mixed in with the steam. I don't know if that really works, but
We
I will
never
say
got in
this.
trouble for
if
it.
there's one thing that our buddy Glenn here, our listener Glenn, which I want to say it might be the first time he's listening in, Glenn was undefeated in the game of Mercy.
Oh yeah,
You know where you
Yeah,
lock hands and you
interlock
have
the
to
fingers.
and you have
Yeah.
to bend the other person's wrist back. Glenn undefeated.
Well-
He had wrists of steel, which looking back on as a high schooler, I feel like there's only one way to get wrists of steel. Now that I think about it.
Well, he was a better trumpet player than you. You realize
Oh,
that, right?
absolutely.
And I think that's why. I think his finger dexterity, because he was
That's
such
true.
a good trumpet player. That's the reason why. It
So-
wasn't so much he was trying to show that he's stronger
for
than
those
you.
that are in band, for those that were ever in marching band or even
I'm
strings.
so sorry you got beat up in high school.
We all know that there was the one kid that had like the most, like for us in the trumpet section, there's the one kid that had like the top of the line trumpet,
Yeah.
right? Like his parents went all out,
Yeah.
top of the line. He was the good kid, wasn't necessarily the best. Mm-hmm. But then you got Glenn here, and I'm sure he'll attest to this if you wanted to chime in. Glenn had the most beat up trumpet.
Oh yeah,
Beat up like it's seen better days.
Yep.
Dented the all hell out, right? But killed it on the marching band field.
and in the jazz band.
That's
and
just how it
everything
is,
like
man.
that.
Doing more with less.
Our buddy Jason actually chimes in. He knew Glenn
Mm-hmm.
in high school as well. Basically said he's a robot. Glenn was a robot, and it was
What
pretty,
if we find out later that Glenn was sent from the future? To
teach us all futuristic jazz?
No, nope. I'm taking it one step further. Glenn was sent from the future to save John Connor. he's
You ruined it. Olga chimes in that the smoking in the bathroom with the hot steam does work, even though Glenn says doesn't work. So we got some contradicting.
we're gonna have to
smoke
test
appearances.
this.
Yeah, thank you guys again for chiming in on everything. And again, back to our Facebook page. Our buddy Facebook Nick chimed in. So NFL football was going on this past weekend and the weekend before, and of course, everyone's talking about the overtime rules. Overtime rules in NFL, how it's not fair, how it should stay the same, like all this controversy. But then he was like, what would be the most ridiculous way to settle a tie in any given sport?
Yeah.
So, people brought up like, oh, what if you did a field goal kicking contest
Yeah.
or, free throw shooting? Well,
In basketball.
yeah, our buddy.
You play. Excuse me, I can't even talk.
I know.
And it's gonna make sense now. You play pig. It's horse. Sure.
yeah.
A be pig.
But then Sal chimed in talking about back when the MLS started in the 90s, they didn't have draws. Even though draw is a soccer staple, you know what I mean? The U.S. was like, no, the U.S. couldn't handle draw at all.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
So it's like instead of penalty kicks, we're going to do this insanity thing where the goalie and a striker have a running start for a one-shot penalty kick. So instead of the normal penalty kick where the dude stands there and runs up,
Right.
So and this only happened for 1 year.
Why
The video-
why choose fancy? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Why
absolutely
choose fancy 5 tries to get 5 goal penalty kicks when you could choose violence and try and
but
crash into each other like a medieval
It was
war.
absolute insanity. Like we're watching some clips of it where both the goalie and the kicker would be full steam ahead running at each
Yeah.
other to kick the ball. So it reminded me, do you remember the XFL, not the recent incarnation, but like the very original?
the kickoff rule.
One of the things, they didn't have a kickoff. They had a run for the ball.
Yeah, they
So what
set it in the middle.
They set it at the 50-yard line, and both players would run from like the 25, and the first one to grab the ball, you would win the kickoff. They did that. The very first time they did that,
Concussion City.
No, the guy separated his shoulder, out for the season.
Jesus.
Yeah, so needless to say.
So I
not
did
good.
read on social media an idea. They would never do it, but it was an interesting idea to settle overtime in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. The home team, or you flip a coin, rather. You flip a coin. The winner of the coin toss.
I think I knew your idea.
They choose how many yards back to kick for the field goal. The other team chooses whether they're going to kick it or you take it. It's basically like name that tune. Like, okay, then kick it.
So I heard a variation of it. So the general basis of it, it's called the I cut you choose, and basically like parents do this when there's like one cookie left or whatever, and it's like, okay, fine, you cut the cookie, but the other person chooses who gets what side of the cookie. That way, it's the most fair because they both basically have to work together. I heard about that, but instead of doing just a field goal, they would actually just start play. So if you say the 30-yard line or the 10-yard line, well, are you going to be on offense or defense? You get to choose offense or defense. Next score wins, but you get to choose offense or defense.
I think that the field goal kicking is so much
But
better.
it only relies on one aspect of the game.
One guy.
But
it makes
I
field
don't
goal
like that
kicking.
one.
It makes your field goal kicker all the more important.
Yeah, but it devalues the other one. So I do like that rule. And just started thinking like, it's obviously the playoffs, so they had to do it that way. But we were talking about it last night. What's the point of the clock? If it can't end in a tie, why have a game clock? Like, there's obviously the play clock to for delay
Makes
of
sense.
game and stuff.
Right.
But why even have any other type
For the
of
playoffs,
clock?
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Unless there's some wacky rules when it like goes to zero.
Then
with
they switch sides.
Yeah,
or
maybe.
something.
But anyway, again, thanks you guys for doing this. You could always reach out to us any single time you want. One of the things that we did want to do, and we want to attempt it now, so if anyone wants to do that, we're going to try to take some phone calls. So if you're listening live and you want to call us, our number is 347-MY-MOOFs. That's 347-696-6637. So if you want to call in and be a part of the show, feel free. Again, this is going to be the first time we're attempting this, so it could completely backfire and have absolutely no
It's gonna.
possible
You know what's
way.
going to happen? It's going to be Echo City.
I don't know. I think I've I don't know, tried it. But if you want to be a part of the show, 347-696-6637. Again, you don't have to, but it'd be nice.
Is
test
it gonna
out
like? Is it gonna ring?
We'll find out. So we do have a couple of things that we do want to chat about. This is one of the reasons that it's been a while for our show was, I had a lot of work to do, and one of the things that I was a part of was actually a video shoot at Universal Studios. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay.
It would have been
Universal Studios
cooler.
video shoot.
I know what I'm thinking. It would have been cooler if it was a music video.
It would have, but it was a corporate event. But here's the thing.
Even
this,
worse.
It happened at 10 o'clock at night when the park was closed. So this company bought out Universal Studios, the Harry Potter Hogsmeade at Islands of Adventure, just for their company. So it was only about 500 people and the entire Harry Potter world at their disposal.
Okay, so do you think that there is a certain price just for certain areas? Like,
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
want to rent out
Yep.
just the Simpsons area.
Yep. Oh, I'm definitely sure there was.
I bet you there are some that it's so cheap.
So no way that it's cheap. You kidding me? This is like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, how much do you think Harry Potter World is? That's got to be insane.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
They're like unlimited back and forth on the little train.
So
that they
the
have.
really cool part about it was, as an adult, like, okay, I'm there working, but obviously, since I was doing the video shoot, myself and our crew had to be there early, so we got to be there when it was completely closed. No one was there, and the company hadn't even arrived yet They were still like doing a
So
pre-party
you got
somewhere.
you got free time
Yeah.
in there.
So like I took the coolest photos like at sunset and like with the lights out and with all the lights on and everything is themed, everything is on. There's still people working there. It was the coolest thing. And so it brought me back to like, you know, when you're a little kid, that's heaven for you. Being able to be alone in a
It's so
theme park.
wild because like people ask me, do you want to, you know, like, hey, do you want to do Islands of Adventure or Universal? I have no desire to go to Universal or Islands of Adventure unless it's Halloween Horror Nights, and then that's an iffy. I've gone to
Really?
Universal so many times in my life. Unless there's a new ride, I don't care.
But so it's not necessarily limited to theme parks, but is there any way, is there any place that you would want to be like alone at night?
home.
Everything, but I'm saying everything is fully staffed and operational, but it's just like you and 5 friends and you have it all to yourselves.
I don't. Initially, I'm thinking just random things in my head. I'm
Yeah.
thinking the grocery store. Just the grocery store. Just, you know, you have no one else in there. You're just
Why?
grocery shopping by yourself. How cool do you think it would be to go into a Walmart while it's all closed? There's no one else in there.
Yeah, but what would you be doing?
Shopping, man.
So you would want to do it to just shop. Like,
No,
you know,
I don't know. Okay. If you were on a cruise,
ooh, so an entire
that
cruise,
would almost be creepy.
but not like a yacht, like a chartered yacht or anything, but like a full cruise ship.
Oh yeah, like
That would be
Royal
insane.
Caribbean, full on. You have access to every room.
Yeah.
You know, the elevators. You know, then it's just out there. Just think how quiet that would be, out in the middle of nowhere. There's no one else there. You can just go up into the what is it, the bridge? Is that what it's called? The bridge,
Oh.
and just walk around and
The
pilot
deck.
that
I guess
thing.
it'd be the deck, yeah. But and then so I started thinking like obviously if you're a little kid, like what if you had an entire laser tag arena and it was just you and your buddies, the entire arena all night, and then like a bowling alley or so,
Yeah, I mean, we had Wet and Wild when we were in high school.
yeah,
all to ourselves.
But that was like a couple of hundred people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of. But then I also started thinking like, what if you could do? Oh, I just had it in my head. Oh man, I just had it and I forgot about it. And I think it would be like a heck of a lot of fun doing that. But you know, I forgot. So when I was working at the arena, sometimes I'd be working late at night, and I was like, it is trippy to have the arena, but it was empty. So what if
Do they keep the lights on the inside court
we
area?
could turn it on if you wanted
Is
to?
it literally one switch?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is it like a little flip switch, like in your like
No,
here in the
no,
house?
no,
Or is it like full on industrial? You have to pull
like
it
the,
down.
the Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No, it's like a panel box kind of thing. So, but I would love like, what if you had like an entire professional basketball game, but it was for just you and like 6 people, but full concessions, full
Let's just
ushers.
say it's the off season
Yeah,
for the Magic, for the NBA, right? And you wanted to rent out the arena just to play like half court basketball.
I think that would be amazing.
But do they offer that? Who do you call to say, hey,
So-
I want to get 2 hours. You could set up a little beverage.
So let me say
Gatorade
this:
stand.
they used to sell what was called the Court of Dreams. It would happen before the game, so you wouldn't have it like all to yourself, but like before the game, you and your friends, mostly it was corporations, you can do a full court scrimmage for a couple of hours before, and you can pay for it. And it was called the Court of Dreams because the
What do you
court
think that costs?
thousands in the thousands.
I mean, do you
easily.
think it'd be 10,000 for more than 10,000, more than 20,000 for 2 hours?
I don't know.
It can't be like in the hundred.
Oh no, probably not in the hundreds.
There's no
It's
way.
probably tens of thousands. Jason chimes in. What if it was one of the Samuel L. Jackson Jurassic Park switch?
Hold on to your butts.
Yep, I like that. But then it starts making me thinking about Newman. I know he's not Newman, but Newman. It's like Anyway,
Dennis Nedry.
yeah,
That was his character's name.
exactly. Yeah. So Jason was talking about. I know that they've done the Rink of Dreams before, where you can actually get on the ice rink before a hockey game and do a scrimmage there, and it was all to yourselves, and you can do it. And he says it was about $100 each. So if you look at
Okay.
it, that's probably
Is it required that you have to have skates? If you said,
Just
I just want to
running
go
out
out there on a bobsled.
and just like sled around. Actually, there's no limitations. You're renting out the rink, so yeah.
You're like, whoa. You pay for it, and you have like all these very specifics. You're like, I want a table right on the side rink with hot chocolate and coffee.
Mm-hmm.
All these like really weird demands, and you show up in a bobsled, and like, sir, you can't. You're like, this is my time now.
This is my dream.
This is
and
my
it's
time.
called Rink of Dreams. So one of the things that the Solar Bears used to do, like during the intermission, is those giant inflatable balls that like people get in and they run into each other and, play it. Well, they would do that, but soccer on the ice.
Right.
So people would just be slip sliding like crazy.
I feel like that's
I've wanted to do that.
you bust your knees so bad.
I know, but I've wanted to do that so bad, and I would pay for a Rink of Dreams in order to just like me and like it's just a 3-on-3 full court, like just soccer, but we're all wearing those inflatable ball costumes.
All right.
I think that'd be pretty
ice
dope.
rink, but basketball. you got to break some ankles.
And you got to dribble and oh my god, people would die. Yeah. So are there any when you were a kid? Were there any other things? Because it reminds me of the movie Blank Check, where the kid like basically just like gets an insane playhouse, or Richie Rich or something like that.
Right.
Was there anything as a kid you'd be like, man, when I'm older, I would love to? Because again, being at the park. Completely alone before anyone gets there. And then when the people started getting in, again, all the rides were available.
Yeah.
So I was able to just to hop on Hagrid's motorcycle ride and just be like, cool, this is amazing.
Okay, what if, and I'm trying to think of a movie that's coming up that's just so crazy. Like, let's just say one of the next end of the Marvel series, like the next phase, right? Where it's like the next big bad guy. And COVID is like running rampant again, right?
Okay.
And you just wanted to see this movie, and you had to pay for all the tickets, in a movie theater to rent it out. Would you do that?
Yeah, some people have. Some
Let's
people
just say,
have done that before.
I mean, how many seats do you think are in a standard movie theater?
Ooh, probably like a couple hundred.
Do you think it's all right? Let's say 200.
Yeah, 200.
Let's just say you go to a matinee, and
So
it's
$10
let's
a
say
pop.
$10, $2,000.
That's achievable. That's achievable.
That's nothing crazy. I mean, that's expensive. It better be a damn good movie. And
Well-
and maybe you sell a few tickets to your buddies or something.
So what? Remember during the 20 when they show like the advertising stuff? Every once in a while, you'll see just like the still image with some stock music, and it'll always be like
Wait, when
rent out
you say in the 20?
like the 20 minutes before.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
they used to call it, like the 20 or movie watch or whatever. They always had the weird advertisement where it's like, book your birthday party here, and you can like rent out the theater for your birthday.
I've gone to one of those.
Really?
Were you not there? Someone invited me. No, it's one of my lawyer buddies. Rented out and
Wait, you did this as an adult?
yeah. This
Weird.
was maybe like 4 years ago.
Okay.
He rented it out, and it was a good like it was one of those. It was like one of the new movies that was out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like some shitty movie. At the front is a bar set up, and
Yeah.
it's like
That actually wouldn't be too bad.
there were tubs of popcorn. You just take one and go. There was like a bucket of like not 2 liters, but like what's small? What is it?
Like a 20 ounce?
20 ounce.
Yeah, the bottle soda. You could have just said
Bottle, I
bottled
don't know, but
soda.
like just a ton of those. Just take one and go.
Yeah.
There was stacks of candy, like M&M's
Oh,
stacked.
yeah, and you can just grab the boxes?
Gummy bears stacked,
I like
and you
it.
just take one and go.
That's cool.
And it was left there throughout the whole movie. So if you ran out and you wanted to go back
Nice.
down and grab another one, you could. It was so great. Watch the movie, and there's probably like 20 of us in there.
So you've seen the advertisements where it could be like, for some reason it's always like opera, but they're like, oh yeah, you go to the theater and watch like a live simulcast of like the
Yeah.
Metropolitan Opera. I always thought it was weird that it was opera, but if it was like a huge concert that you've always wanted to go to but you couldn't, like let's say The Weeknd's performing, not coming to Florida at all, and but for some reason it's like his only appearance. He's playing at the Rose Bowl or something, and it's like this big extravaganza. Would you pay to go to a movie theater so you can see it in full
I just don't
surround
think it would be the
sound,
same,
big
man.
theater?
You're just not going to get the same experience.
Really?
I
Is there
think I'll
any-
pass on that.
Is there any live event that you would like? Okay, so let's say you.
I
rented-
think it would be cool to watch the Super Bowl, maybe.
Ooh, so if you rented out a theater for you and your friends to watch the Super Bowl,
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
hey, for
That's not a bad idea.
for a couple $1,000 bucks,
Yeah.
and you can-
Or March Madness. rent it out all day. If they can
If they can somehow get,
if
like-
they can split it up into 4 games.
That'd be hard because sometimes there's more than 4 games at once, isn't there?
no, there's only because only 4 courts.
At
any one
yeah,
time.
That makes sense. Yeah. That the problem is the thing that makes it work is you'd have to have a betting. Like betting has to be
You have
there.
to do it online.
But that's
like-
not as fun. That's not going to be as fun.
Yeah.
No one's going to really want to do that.
But if you bring all your buddies who are also gamblers,
possibly, I could see it better with the Super Bowl because you can get like the casual people to come
and
in
they want
do
to
that.
see all like the commercials and stuff.
Yeah. So let me say this. You're talking about movies, and it transitions to our next topic as well. By the way, people are agreeing that it would not be the same to watch the concert doing one of those simulcasts, which is weird.
The
that they still
energy-
do it
the
for
energy is
for the
not there.
opera too.
Well, because that's more like a. I feel like the energy for the opera would be different than watching a live
Yeah, I
concert.
guess that makes sense. So we shared this news story with we shared it. We talked about it the other day, and we wanted to make it a topic. It's not part of what's going on, but The Rock announced, and granted, it's come out, you know what it is, but The Rock announced he's working on a badass movie that's based on a video game franchise. So of course, all the speculation was, oh, what's
Well,
it going to be?
he's done the board game
Yeah,
franchise.
he's done Jumanji. We know that Halo's coming out, and of course, there's many other video games.
Yeah.
Uncharted is about to come out.
Looks
There's been a
very
bunch of that stuff.
cheesy. Uncharted. I've never played the game. I don't know, but it looks very cheesy.
But,
Halo, if anyone has seen
The trailer?
the trailer,
It's
it
pretty
looks
good.
legit.
So, we were speculating on what it would be. Now, obviously, the number one answer is Call of Duty, that it should be Call of Duty, because you could just make it a wartime game, and it's a
The
wartime
thing is,
movie.
is like it's one of those things where I already know they're just going to come up with their own story.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a war movie, and they just called it Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there is a story to Call of Duty. All right, and
Oh, yeah.
it spans
Well,
many
each-
games, right?
Each game is its own storyline,
Right.
yes.
Right. I doubt they are going to adapt the game to the movie in any way.
So then it leads the question, what video game would you want a movie for? Now, we have to put a big asterisk on this because you and I grew up in a time where we saw the very beginnings of video game movies,
Yep.
and they were
Awful.
terrible.
They were awful.
But we have to give them a little bit of like, okay, well, they didn't know what they were doing because no one had made a video game movie before. And of course, I'm talking about the 2 big ones that everyone brings up.
We're going to say
3 of them, actually. There's 3 big
Super
ones.
Mario. Start with the first one, Super Mario.
The Super Mario Brothers movie,
Awful.
Mortal Kombat,
Mortal Kombat.
and Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. There's also a Double Dragon movie. By
I
the way.
forgot about, Double Dragon. So that era in the mid-90s, no one knew what they were doing, and their movies were awful. Now, it's gotten better over the years, and we've seen some actually
But like
pretty
traditional video, here's the problem. Like I think if you took all the video game movies, most of them are horrible. Like they're never good movies, and really the biggest.
good. What do you think the biggest one is?
Well, give me a second to think about it. But the biggest gripe that most people have about video game movies is they don't follow the game. They just say we're just going to make up our own thing.
So obviously the big ones that came out that were very successful: Sonic the Hedgehog,
Pokemon,
Pokemon, the Pokemon movies.
Detective Pikachu.
Not just Detective Pikachu, but even like but granted, Pokemon, it was a cartoon before it was a video game.
Yeah.
So that one is a little bit, but Sonic the Hedgehog was
Oh yeah,
huge
Sonic
success.
was great.
The
But the thing is, there was no story to Sonic the Hedgehog. There was. It's very loose.
kind
It's
of,
very
yeah.
loose, right?
Resident Evil.
See, that's the thing. Resident Evil had an entire like. If you took the very first Resident Evil and made that into a movie, it'd be great.
Yep.
They went and did their own little thing and like changed it, and it wasn't as great. Now I believe that there's a remake of it. That's
Well,
out.
they've done a couple of sequels and stuff too, but the biggest one, and I think it's probably the most successful, and I'm not talking about the reboot of it, but is Tomb Raider. I think the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raiders were probably the best adaptation of video game to movies out there.
But if you watch them now, they're completely cheesy. Very
yeah,
hokey,
but
very
but
hokey.
if you play the video games now, it's very cheesy.
Yeah.
Like the original PlayStation Tomb Raider. But I think that would probably be the most successful. But are there any other video game franchises that you would want an adaptation of?
So
the video
you
game
could think
world.
some classic ones.
Yeah.
Like what if they did Mike Tyson's Punch Out? You know,
I mean,
and they made like each of those characters.
they couldn't necessarily call it Mike Tyson's Punch Out because,
Yeah.
but now Mike Tyson could be.
What
in
if they
the
made a
movie.
Super Mario movie, but it was Mario Kart inspired? Like it was they're all trying
Could
to race.
But
or
see, I know
something.
a lot of people are trying to do like Left 4 Dead and BioShock. And,
Well, they
you know
are
what I
making
mean?
a Left 4 Dead.
I know, but like
show.
they want more
Yeah.
more human based.
Like
Like, you know what I mean?
want, but they want to take the games that have real in-depth stories
Well,
and characters.
They want
that they can-
actual human characters. That's the problem. I think we're talking about like, Mario and
Yeah.
like wacky stuff like that. But I think Punch Out would probably be good. It would just be a boxing, where it's like
Be a boxing
a,
movie.
a little one out of nowhere, a kid out of nowhere doing it. Your dog farted, by the way, and it smells real bad. Like it's pretty rank.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
So, okay, more than likely it's going to be a Call of Duty, and then we were joking, like, what if it was like Paperboy? Like, what are like some of the worst answers that could possibly
Donkey
be?
Kong. What if they made Donkey Kong?
Yeah, but see, again, you could probably come up with a pretty engaging story and make it CGI crazy. I remember they came out with Rampage, which was terrible.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed
Assassin's
failed.
Creed, like it looked like it had so much promise, and then it had nothing to it. The story was completely awful.
Yep.
Now the new Mortal Kombat.
I
Visually,
enjoyed. I really liked it.
Visually, it looked great. The story, I think, was so bad.
You're right. It was
The
let me say
story
this.
was so
It
bad.
was entertaining. One of them. Someone chimes in. It's not necessarily on there because I don't think it's for our demographic. But the Angry Birds movie made so much money,
I heard that.
and that's based off a video game as well. So Angry Birds. Came about that. We just missed a phone call, by the way. So I do the whole thing where it's like, yeah, give us
See,
a
we
call.
didn't get a notification.
Yeah, 347-696-6637 if you want to give us a call. And you're right, because I didn't have the number.
You know what you got to do is you got to post it. We got to have some. Is there a way on Facebook Live to put like a graphic across the top or something like that?
I mean, we'd have to do that in our streaming service.
Okay, we'd have to do it on this program here.
Yeah,
we'd have to do it
probably.
at some point. We'll figure that out next week.
If we were good at our jobs. Anyway, so let us know, Move Troop, are there any other video game adaptations that you'd want to see a movie from? Because, and of course, you saw like there was a G.I. Joe, there's Battleship, there's all
Battleship had nothing to do
Oh, it
with the game
didn't. But it was
Battleship.
Hasbro. You know what I mean? So
that means nothing in the whole. If you had not named that movie Battleship,
Yeah.
you never would have thought the game Battleship.
exactly. I saw the G.I. Joe movie. It was terrible.
Oh,
Absolutely
Snake Eyes.
awful. No, the first G.I. Joe movie.
Oh yeah,
with, like
but
Channing
didn't you
Tatum.
see Snake Eyes?
No, because the first two G.I. Joe movies were that like
I think we
that
talked about
awful.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so there was like other toys and stuff. Are there any other like
The
toy?
Transformers movies were interesting when they first came out. Then they
Yeah?
bled that thing dry.
But again, was Transformers a toy first, or was it an '80s cartoon first?
Either way, man.
That's-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started off as a comic book.
Ooh, yeah, that
they,
was good.
first off, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie,
Yeah.
probably cheesy as hell now, but was incredible.
Oh, it was
for the day.
groundbreaking.
Incredible for the day. And let me say this: that story, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, but that story I think was legit, really good. Like, there's nothing to like. There's no adaptation storyline or anything, but the story they had was great.
Here's the crazy part: they cursed in that movie. Like it was 100% geared towards kids. 100%.
Who cursed? Was it Raphael?
Raphael.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times he said "damn" in there.
He's mean, but what's crude, but I don't know. I don't remember I can't just think the middle of the song.
Raphael is cool but rude.
There you go.
Michelangelo's.
He was
a party
definitely rude in that.
dude. All right. Well, let's go forward with our show. Of course, it's been a while, so we want to talk about everything that has been happening in the news. It is our news segment. It's What's Going On.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on?
What's Going On? Brought to you by our amazing sponsors, Amber over at Classic Man Cuts, classicmancuts.com. I got to get myself a trim
I'm
soon.
due for one here soon.
Yep. And then, of course, Jennifer and Ashley over at Her Majesty's Services. I'm actually working on another sponsor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Can you tell us what industry it's in?
Horror.
What?
It's like a makeup type of thing, like horror makeup type of thing. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. You know,
All right. We'll take
I
it.
thought you were the sales department. But anyway, here is what's going on. So, we the Super Bowl's coming up, and of course, everyone loves eating some of them snacks during the Super Bowl. Of course, potato chips, always the biggest thing. But Lay's is going to get you a little bit closer to the action, if you will. And here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
Lay's will now be coming out with a line of potato chips that will be grown, the potatoes will be grown in soil from NFL stadiums. So they've taken some of the soil from NFL stadiums that actually have soil. Obviously, there's no way you can get potatoes from the
This is so
Superdome.
stupid.
And what they did is they grew some spuds from there, and you could, like, for example, Lambeau Field, Soldier Field. You can get potatoes that were grown from that soil.
I mean, you're just never gonna.
and
It's
you can
all
eat a bag
it's,
of potato chips.
It's all fake.
Well, unfortunately,
I think it's all a gimmick. There's no way they're like, hey, after the season, we need the dirt, the soil. Maybe they got a little, like a bucket worth, but no one's gonna let you come in and just start digging up their entire field.
I mean, I don't see why they can't, because if you think about it, during the off season, especially during the wintertime, a lot of that grass is dead, so they have to maybe like re-sod everything.
But think of like Miami Dolphins,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know if they have turf or not, or real grass, but that's probably there all year round, and they probably don't want you messing with it.
Well, there's other events. There's other events that happen in that stadium during the year as well. What happens when the Monster Jam comes and they have all the dirt there with all the monster trucks? See?
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotcha there. No, so this was spanning off of when the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup. They actually took some of the ice and they brewed Coors Light brewed a batch of beer using the ice.
I thought you were gonna say they made slushies.
No, but they melted some of the ice on the ice rink and brewed a batch of beer.
They could at the end of the game could take the Zamboni and start shaving all the ice and start making slushies after the game.
Yeah, I could.
Why don't
I
you
can
do
see that. Yeah. So
have you seen the Mountain Dew drink that's coming? It's like Mountain Dew is making an alcoholic seltzer.
yes, but it's Baja Blast flavored, which is interesting.
I'm gonna try it.
Okay. Well,
I'm not a fan of Baja Blast, but I'm gonna try. I like the flavor of Mountain
we'll
Dew, so
definitely
I'm
try
gonna
that. And shout out to Shannon, who's listening. She actually has a bottle of that ice beer that was championship brewed from the ice.
That's just a collector's item. You know?
Now, do you drink it or do you keep it as a collection?
Yeah, you just because you're not. Here's the thing: it's not gonna taste any different. You might as well keep
What
it.
if it did though? What if it did?
Then
What if?
I'm gonna let someone else tell me that it tastes incredibly different.
Nice. Well, speaking of potato chips, going back to that, a truck full of potatoes in Minnesota crashed on the highway. And of course, crashes happen. That stuff happens actually a lot. The problem is this happened when it was freezing cold weather, so the potatoes froze in place to the road. Minnesota Department of Transportation said a truck crashed on Interstate 94 in Albertville, Minnesota. Special equipment was needed because all the potatoes were frozen, stuck solid to the road. It happened overnight. They finally were able to complete it. No injuries reported, but all those potatoes.
They're gonna say they're gonna have to wait till the summer to officially clean it all. It's gonna shut down the road until the summertime.
But what do you think would happen? You just frozen potatoes on the ground. Those potatoes are completely useless. Like you just have to throw them all away, right? There's no way you could reuse that.
I don't know, man. I mean, look, times are tough. There's a potato shortage.
Is there? Is this Ireland? Is this the Irish potato famine?
I know for a fact there's a chicken shortage.
There is.
I think you and I talked about that. Prices of chicken wings have gone up no matter where you order chicken wings. But potatoes, who knows, man?
It would be. And then, I remember a year ago, do you remember that the state of Hawaii accidentally released like mass text to all residents in Hawaii saying like,
yeah.
And that was pretty bad.
That was several years ago.
People are running for their lives. And if you don't remember, they accidentally sent out hey, there's a bomb threat like for the entire state, like a nuclear bomb coming our way.
It was like incoming.
Yeah. And it was accidentally sent out. Well, the state of Missouri kind of did the same thing, but a little more comic way. Apparently, the state of Missouri Highway Patrol System is assuring that Batman's villain Joker is not let loose after it was accidentally set out an emergency alert that Gotham City, Missouri is looking for a purple-green 1976 car with a license plate "You Kid Me," which was the license plate of Jack Nicholson's Joker in the 1989 film Batman. Law enforcement agency explained that the clown prince of crime is not on the loose in Missouri, which doesn't even have a place called Gotham City.
That's just too much, man. I think that you could just send out a text saying disregard that last.
You
know,
did, but
emergency.
do you think someone gets fired for even inputting that into the system, even for the the sheer chance that it's accidentally
I
sent out?
have to imagine. I have to imagine that someone hacked it.
You think no? They said that it was meant to be a test message.
Oh, a test message.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
why
went
I
out.
was like, when you do a test message, why would you
Well,
not put?
well, let's put something like let's throw that out there. If it's a test message, it's to see does this work? What will
Yeah,
happen if we
of
do
course.
this? So you have to imagine one of the possibilities is this test goes out. Why not just say this is a instead of
Thank
doing
you.
instead of saying like
Thank
Joker
you.
and all that, just say this is a test. If you receive this,
Exactly.
please disregard.
Because it's someone who probably hates their job and they're like, I'm gonna have a little fun. Type Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the you get called out for, bro. You should have just said test message.
Oh, easily.
Put the date, put the time. I don't know. That's all you need to put.
But do you think that person gets fired for doing that? You know the Hawaii person got fired.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So Shannon chimes in. Not only is there a shortage of chicken and apparently potatoes that are frozen to the ground, cream cheese and heavy cream is also. There's a
I would
shortage
not
of.
know that. Just
Which is
'cause-
weird because you would think dairy, like it wouldn't be that much. And then Shannon chimes in. She talks about, and this is a new phenomenon. Have you heard of smoked cream cheese? You take a block of cream cheese, you wrap it in foil, and you put it on your grill as you're grilling other items. So the cream cheese gets the smokiness of all the meats and like the hickory chips and all that stuff.
So then, what do you put the cream cheese on?
No, and then you use the cream cheese as a dip. So you
Okay.
you dip stuff in the cream cheese, but it has that smoky barbecue
I wonder if
flavor.
we're gonna start seeing videos of this around the Super Bowl.
Listen,
People throwing
it's
that out
it's
there.
become a new fad, and a lot of people have been doing it, and said it's good. It said if put it on a bagel, and you get that smokiness on a bagel. That actually sounds pretty tasty.
You know,
I'm gonna try that.
You know where we should try and get to be a sponsor is that one place that you and I went to go eat the other day. That has the $2.
Kelly's Ice Cream?
No.
Oh,
That has the
Crave.
$2. Yeah,
Yeah, they pretty good barbecue place.
that
with
was a
some
pretty good barbecue.
$2 hot dogs, and that of course is what's going on. And of course we transition and move along from our what's going on segment to our moof of the week.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You little stupid and whoa.
I want to say move for the week.
You little dumb and whoa.
So we've heard wacky baby names before. I know like Kanye named his kid North. Gwyneth Paltrow is famous for naming her kid Apple. And there's some
I did not know.
yeah, and then I know like Bruce Willis and Demi Moore named their kid Rumor. So there's some unique
There was
names
the
out
one
there.
chick that got arrested for like disclosing national security stuff. Her name was Reality Winner. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
This was during the last administration where this lady released top secret information or something, right? And she went to prison for a while. I think she just got out, but
I don't
her
remember
name
that at
was
all.
Reality Winner.
Interesting. Well, and I know that there are some places where they won't like you can name your baby anything, but I know there are some places where they will 100% will not accept it. Like there are certain governments that will be like for example, you can't name your kid Hitler.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they've made it to where it is illegal to now. However, a mom in England, Josie Barnes, has decided to name her kid Lucifer. Now,
Come on,
she's a
man.
huge fan of the TV show Lucifer, which, stars Jeremy Kyle and all that stuff. But she decided she's thick-skinned. She's getting a lot of flack online. But she said, nope, I like the name Lucifer. I'm naming my kid Lucifer.
Do you know if the name Lucifer, it's like origins is straight up from the Bible, or was the name ever used prior to whenever it first showed up in the Bible?
So, according to Wikipedia, Lucifer is one of various figures in folklore associated with the planet Venus, originally stemming from the son of personified dawn Aurora. The entity's name was
Aurora, great name.
was
Choose that one
subsequently
instead.
absorbed to Christianity as a name for the devil. So initially, it was not the name of the devil, and it was, turned into that. But now that that's the connotation, do you name your kid Lucifer?
Would you
even if
rather
like
the name Lucifer or like Diablo?
Well, so here's
I
the
feel
thing.
like I would take Diablo though.
A lot.
I wouldn't be so upset.
There are
about
people
that.
named Damien and Damon, and
But that's based off of a movie.
true. But if it becomes enough lore, so let me say this: I know we talked about you can't name your kid Hitler. Could you name your kid Adolf?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't know. All these shows are
Could you
blending
name
together.
your kid Genghis?
But see, that's the thing. Like, there have been other Gengises. No, there's been other Khans. Sorry, because there's been Genghis Khan, Kubla Khan. And technically it's pronounced Genghis.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a weird thing.
Like Jenga.
So I'm team no kids. I'm not gonna have kids. But if I did, I always like the name Dorian and Dexter. I just kind of like those names. And then like Bianca. So where it's like a normal name, quote unquote normal, but like it's not as used. Do you have any idea for kids' names
No.
at all?
Zero.
You've never even thought about it.
I've thought about honoring my father and using his name as a middle name.
Okay, interesting. Someone chimes in, you name the kid Lucifer, call him Lucy for short. But see, it's a boy, so it'd be weird like a boy named Lucy. Now, that actually is becoming a trend where you have like the intergender name. Like I know a lot of females named Charlie, a lot of females named Stevie.
Is that okay? When you meet, this is maybe I'm just speaking for me. I'm trying to validate this or not.
Okay.
But when I meet a girl, let's just say she's above average attractiveness, right? Say like 7 out of 10. If she's got a name like Charlie or Stevie, it's like an extra bonus point for me. I think that
Really?
I think it's
Okay,
there's
listen.
something it's something weird about it.
I
That's
can-
just
I can see that.
it's like it's just cool.
Okay. Now, and back in the day, it's a bit different because guys typically don't have girls' names because they'll get made fun of, and that's the stereotype. But I know back in the day, for example, Carol used to be a guy's name. Like there's
know
Carol
that.
O'Connor. He played Archie Bunker.
Yeah.
So that and I've actually known a lot of guys named Carol. A lot of guys named Kim as well.
The one that comes to mind for me is from Entourage. There's the character Ari Gold,
Yeah.
which is short for Ariel
Yeah. So I think
or Ariel.
as Gen Z becomes, as they get older and start having kids, I think they're going to start breaking that stereotype where you're going to see a lot more interchangeable. Now, are there names that are truly like you would never, like for example, if a girl was named Bill or Carl?
Where do you draw the line? Is
That's
there a
what-
line of names where it's we got? You know what we got to do? We got to make another one of those rankings.
Ranking lists?
Let's just find the top 10. What is it? Non-binary names,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I mean,
Is
there was
that what it'd be
there was-
classified
There
as?
was that whole SNL skit, Pat. It's Pat.
Yeah.
'Cause whether
But-
it's
but
Patricia or
let's-
Patrick.
But let's find like we'll have to do it another time. But we'll find like the top 10 names and then rank them. Is this, how much is this going to fly later on
Yeah.
in life when you're in the professional world or in high school or whatever?
That would be funny. Obviously, Shannon chimes in that Shannon is also
Yeah.
a girl's name or a guy's name as well. But yeah, could you have a guy named Tiffany
No,
or a girl named
a guy-
Chad?
guy named Mary.
Actually, Chad, I think could be an interchangeable one.
I'm-
Skylar, I've heard as an interchangeable between a guy. Anyway, we're gonna get tangent in the names, but anyway, that's our moof of the week. Ooh, that's actually a good one. We talked about Bill. Someone brought up Billie Eilish, Billie Holiday. Like Billie
How
has
about
been used.
Bill Bellamy. The name Bellamy.
No, first name Bellamy.
Yeah,
I
just
like
the
it.
first name Bellamy.
All right. So of
That
course,
it's got like a feminine end, sound to it.
so
Emmy?
Colleen
Bellamy.
chimes in. My sister-in-law met someone at work named L.A., but she went by Ladasha.
Well, L.A. is just short.
Yeah, I guess. So I've heard people.
Because I know a girl. The name her first two initials were L.A. and she went by the name L.A.
Well, I know that's a huge thing. Sometimes KC, like people's like, wait, is it K and C or is it Casey? You know what I mean? Like a lot,
Yeah.
or yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so moving on. We of course get to the best part of the show. I don't know. I when I was creating this, it's something that I love. It's a recent hit. It's actually a huge. It's climbing up the charts. And I was thinking, there's no way Matt's going to know this song.
Probably don't.
Matt has no idea. But it really surprises me sometimes the things
Do you
want
want
to
to play the
and you don't
original
know.
first and let
No,
me?
no, because I think it'd be funnier if you listen to the song and you're like, I have no idea
It's
what
not
this
fun
is.
for me when I don't know the song.
It's fun for me. So if I'm a betting man, and I am, I would probably say there's no chance that you know the song, but could surprise
I
me.
mean, is it a new song?
It's a fairly new song, and it is a top 10 song.
Do I know who the artist is? And this is just like one of the
No, that's the thing. It's their first hit, and I really don't think you'll know. But if you do, props to you, man. So here is the latest Matt's Lonely Thoughts theme.
Spends his night just bored, laying alone in bed, asking hypotheticals right from his head. Yet he's still unprepared, and he delays the show. He literally only has one segment. Wonder what Kenny will answer. Will it be funny? Move to please buy our merch. We need the money. He is a lawyer asking the tough questions. He's such a baby, he still won't eat fruit. This segment had such promise. Now he's mailing it in,
No idea what this is.
asking listeners to do his bit. So in case you forgot, let me count it up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 moves. Listen up, now
yeah.
here on That's
I've heard
Lonely
this.
Thoughts. He's a lawyer and alone, only read it on his phone. 2 moves, now it's time. Get a free sticker online. It's the segment that you want. Here are some That's Lonely Thoughts.
I only know because of that chorus.
Yeah, Gail's ABCDEFU. I love that song,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I've heard.
It
that
is
now.
such a good song. So anyway, as your Matt's Lonely Thoughts theme, and a bit of a clarification. So here's the reason why Colleen was like, her name was LA-A. So you would think it'd be La-A. Nope.
Is it
La-
Hawaiian?
It would be
La-A.
La Dasha.
No, stop.
That's how she went. She went by La Dash because it was
That's like
LA-A.
going the formerly known as Prince with the
So,
symbol route.
There's a lot of like Polynesian and Hawaiian names that have apostrophes in it. You know what I mean?
but you don't say apostrophe.
But what if someone did? What if you were Kalaya
I
apostrophe
just backhand you for being dumb.
Yes, F you and your mom and your sister and your job. Like, it's such a good song.
If
Such a good song.
If the name was spelled out LADASHA, Ladasha,
That's how she went by.
and
Her
you
name.
wanted to do like if you wanted to be cute with it and write your name LA-A, that's fine. If you want to be cute with it, do it.
Yeah,
But the
interesting.
name is Ladasha.
Interesting.
or
All right,
Ladasha.
Matt, what's your lonely thought?
So it's not going to get too dark here, but this past weekend,
Wait. Has it been dark before?
yeah, because you was like, your hypothetical getting pretty dark here, a little grim, Matt. Why are you bringing the show down? After the episode's done and we're uploading, you're like, Matt, you can't be bringing that dark stuff to bringing down the mood.
I'd like to point out that I think that's the first time Matt's ever impersonated me on the show. And I've impersonated Matt many times. So, all right, interesting. Anyway, yeah.
So this past weekend, I went to a celebration of life.
Yes.
Okay, and there were just a ton of people there.
Okay.
There's like
Which is great.
200 people there.
Awesome.
It was catered barbecue, which was really great from this local place. And at some point in the celebration of life, there was a microphone that went around, and if you wanted to say a few words to everybody in the room, you could. And this was one of my father's buddies had passed away,
Okay.
so we took him up to the celebration of life.
Yeah.
And he said a few words, and it was actually really funny, like very sentimental and funny what he said. So it got me thinking, in the future, let's just say like those holograms, where there's like the Tupac hologram or the Michael
Yeah.
Jackson hologram.
Yeah.
If you let's just say, you had the knowledge that, you only had so much time left.
Okay.
Would you, number one, create some sort of hologram, so that you're like, I want this played at my funeral, at my celebration of life? Number one, would you do something like that in preparation for your family and friends? And or is that too weird?
It's not. And you're also talking to the person that is such an egomaniac that I would want to do that.
Okay, because we're gonna peel this back a little bit. I think I would too.
Yeah.
I think that if let's just say
Make something fun.
let's just say the worst was gonna and I knew I had only so much time
Yeah.
left. I would say I want to record something so that when I pass, I want this stage erect, little stage, it doesn't have to be anything crazy.
You want to just have a massive erection on stage? That's
yes,
weird.
That's the hologram, and it'll just be me. They play it, and there I am speaking to everybody. Right.
Would you want it to be sentimental?
Well, that's what I'm going to ask you. Would it be sentimental,
Oh, no.
or here's what I was thinking. I think maybe you save the sentimental bit for the very end, right? But let's say you start off making it funny, and you start roasting everybody. You're like, hey, I know my brother's here,
Yeah, boom
and then
roasted.
you just start it's a reverse roast. And you just start roasting everybody. You're like, remember that time when we were doing this, and Brian, my brother, you
That's
messed up
actually
and
not a
screwed,
bad idea.
and you just start roasting everybody about it's your life and what you remember the most, and you're sharing what you remember the most, your memories, with everybody. Whereas normally, during a celebration of life or funeral, everyone's sharing their most fondest memory of the deceased.
That is probably one of the greatest ideas you've ever had.
Yeah.
That's actually a
We
very
gotta
good idea.
mail it to ourselves.
That's very good. I was going to say, so I would want to do it, but knowing me, I would be like, hey guys, I'm going to host one final game of trivia. Here we go.
I was thinking bingo,
Oh.
a bingo game.
Yeah, but see that,
And then someone's going to be the winner.
but you have to know, it'd have to be where you'd have to take multiple takes, because then how do you know when you've stopped doing bingo?
Someone's got to be on the side and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we got a winner," and like you
But
film
see,
that bit.
That's why I would do trivia. I'd be like, all right, guys, we got 10 questions of trivia.
About your life.
Who's our big winner? Yeah, exactly. But I would do it very similar to, what was that game that was popular for like a couple years? It was an app quiz. It was like the quiz game.
Numero uno.
Yeah. But I would do it like that. I'd be like,
God, what was that game?
oh man, listeners are
Yeah, that
probably
went down
yelling
fast.
at the phone. But I would sit there and I'd be like, all right, here we go.
Someone
Question.
hold on. Someone needs to chime in.
I know, they will.
With what that game is,
But
because
I would
everyone
sit there.
played
It would be all pre-recorded, but I'd be like, all right, here we go. Question number 6. Where did I go for my 40th birthday where I accidentally fell off and got bitten by a shark? Was it Australia, Alaska, Japan, or Cape Cod? You know what I mean?
And then
I have to-
right? I don't want to see anybody cheating. You're like, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
Up front, I'm watching you.
And then be like,
everyone put your phones down.
and it's like, all right, let's find out who the leaderboard is, and then you'd like pretend to look, and then someone would be like typing in the scores,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, ooh, big surprise at number 1,
yeah,
but number 2.
I would have thought so and so would have done much better.
Yeah.
But again, my idea is everyone is always sharing their
really
their
like
memories.
your idea. I
but like
really
you
like your
reverse
idea.
roast everybody.
I really like that a lot.
We got to figure out how to do this.
So, have you ever thought about like, oh, do you want to be cremated or do you want to be buried or whatever?
I have no preference,
Okay.
but I feel like cremation would just be cheaper. So, just
So,
do that.
here's what
don't stress over it.
I've always wanted to do the Viking funeral.
But make a statue for me.
I've wanted to do the Viking funeral where you
Yeah.
put me out in a wooden box and you send me out to sea, and then someone with a flaming archery arrow just sets me on fire as I just drift into the sunset.
I want to be made an example of. I'm already passed, okay? And people donate their body to science.
Yeah.
You know, since I've already passed, I want someone to erect a guillotine, cut off my head,
Really?
put it in the and just as an example of what could happen if you live your life like I do.
Do they? What they should do is, what was that series where it's like shame? It's like they're
Game of
parading your body.
Thrones.
Yeah, the shame, and so you have someone doing that.
So you could right now do my idea, but it's just on video.
Yeah,
But really, you take it to the next step with the hologram. But
well,
you have to film it, you have to save it,
I
and
completely
then
agree.
like you basically your company just records all. You set up areas across the.
But here's the thing: do you have to like, let's say, do an update every 5 years?
they can pay for it.
No, but what
If
I'm
you
saying,
wanna update it, then
because
you
that
can
would
pay
be
for it.
awkward. Like, let's say we do it now, but we don't die until we're like 90, and then it's like, man, these jokes.
You could add on to it.
But what's funny is like,
or,
people would be like, no one gets these jokes. These happened 60 years ago, man.
no. It's when you know you only have so much time left.
But But it wouldn't be bad to start it now. Kind of like when people have living wills.
Yeah.
Record a chunk now, and then like you
But
basically
again, you pay for it, and we store it on
then,
a server.
And then in 5 years, you get to review all the footage. We're like, do you want to replace? Hey, you have this message to Tucker. Do you want to replace it?
Open box. that's the international symbol. What you're doing right there for open the box.
I like that.
But no, yeah. If they want, look, if people want to update it, it's like $200 for an hour long. We record it, we store it, and then we get notified whenever you pass.
I think an hour long would be an hour long a time. I think
$200 an hour.
you'd have to make it to where your end video is no more than 15 minutes.
We'll edit it.
'Cause
We
people
have
are gonna
professional
be-
people that'll edit it, but you have to have the technology. And so
I like
when
it.
when you set up, when you have the actual celebration of life, right? You go and you set up the stage, like that's part of the price, right? And you have to let everybody know this is going to be a little bit different. People are going to be sad and crying. That's why it needs to be upbeat. It can't be like super sad.
Would you encourage people, and I'm not saying part of the business side of things, but would you encourage, let's say you did that for all your friends, would you encourage your friends to pass around the mic and be like, you know what? Even though I'm not here, I want you to make each other laugh, roast me. And do one final roast of me. You know what I mean? I did
Yeah.
one final roast of you.
It's whatever you want.
You do one final
People
roast
can
of
get
me. No, but
creative.
you personally, would you want to do that? So let's say you roast people.
Yeah. I
Would
don't
you
care.
want it
That's-
to where like you give it to me and be like, he was never prepared for his segment. And he always got the number 2.
the number 2 haircut?
The number 2 haircut. And, quite frankly, he
He was never, because he couldn't handle being number 1.
exactly. And then I'd say, boom, roasted. And then I would like hug your dead body.
You hug the hologram.
I hug the hologram.
I'm like, come on up here, and I'm like, you're hugging a hologram.
What if it's you record that, you just sit there and then it's like, hey man, thanks for that meant a lot to me, give me a hug.
See, someone that has to be there to like do the cues,
Yeah,
right?
that's the upgraded
It's like the soundboard.
We could do
it's
the
like a
up-
soundboard.
we could do the,
right?
upgraded
But yeah, the easiest is you just record it, and it's like maybe 20 minutes, boom,
what
and
if we
then
did
it's-
holographic guillotine? How about this?
I'm gonna reenact how I passed away.
So no, it's hologram, but what you do is you film yourself dying like how Mario dies. So it'd be like, all right, guys, I'm gonna leave now, and then you're walking, and then you touch like a Goomba, and then you like doot, 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 and then you like bounce out. I literally just did the
I know, but I
song,
wanted
and then
to do
you
it too.
had to do
I
it.
wanted to do it too because it sounded fun.
All right, guys, that
Look,
was
no one steal this
episode
idea.
57.
I'm gonna think about it. Pat it a little bit.
I like it. Hey, again, thanks for joining us, guys. 2moves.com, show at 2moves.com, 347-MY-MOVES. I know we had it open for phone calls, and then we ended up not taking any, but we will make sure that we do it next time. But yeah, again, please consider donating to us for our undie run.
Yeah. Show some support.
my.cupids.org.
We'll post
2moves.
photos. We'll post photos afterwards.
Yes, and shout out to Tom and Dan, Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan, and a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. They had me on recently just to talk about random stuff, and they're always good at promoting me. I'm actually going to go on in a couple weeks to talk about the.
Let's get some.
It sounded like a kid was like outside the studio, like
I heard
yelling.
something, but I have the headphones on, so I barely
That was
heard
weird.
But
It
there was
sounded like
something,
a.
yes.
Do you have a baby hidden here?
I have a holographic baby.
Is it Ladasha? Is Ladasha here?
No. I say good day.